Hello guys, welcome back to Math with Marcel. Today we're gonna go over mixed fractions, how to add mixed fractions. And I have two examples here, one really simple and one a little bit more complicated. So now let's go ahead and perform the first operation and then the second operation. So the first operation, first thing you have to know is that we're adding. When it's an addition, you have to know that these two numbers have to match. The denominators of the fractions have to be the same. If they're not the same, then you're not able to add the numbers. And I call this guy the king. I call him the king because he's the one that controls the entire operation. If for any reason these two numbers are not the same, as you can see over here, these two numbers, the king, are not the same, you cannot add 4 plus 1. In this case, because the king is the same, therefore you can add 4 plus 2 because the denominator has to be the same. Okay? But we're going to go ahead and take a look at problem number 2 in a little bit. Let's go ahead and finish this one. Right here we have two whole numbers. We have a 3 and a 2. Those, don't even mess with them. Just go ahead and add them together. And you have 3 plus 2, then that becomes a 5, right? Then right here we have, since you know that the king is the same, then you're able to perform the operation and say 4 plus 2 equals 6 over 3. Okay, this is the answer right here. But we have a problem. You have an improper fraction. An improper fraction is when the numerator is bigger than the denominator. And in this case, this number is bigger than this one. So that means that you can divide 3 into 6. So now, to explain it a little better, let's go ahead and say, okay, well, you can say that 5 plus 6 over 3, this is the same as that, correct? Because if you add them together, it becomes that. Okay, now, the king, this is the king. The king says, well, if I take myself apart and myself, so he took himself apart from here, and you have another 3, because 3 plus 3 is 6. So this is the same as this. So all you gotta do is bring the 5 here, like this. But then you know that 3 divided by 3 equals to 1. So this becomes a 1, right? And then 3 divided by 3 becomes a 1. So therefore 5 plus 1 plus 1 equals 5, 6, 7. It becomes a 7. So in order for you to get rid of the improper fraction, you have to divide the denominator into the numerator. And 6 divided by 3 is 2. So 2 plus 5 becomes 7. Okay? So this is your answer, 7, for this problem. So now let's go ahead and look at the second problem. The second problem, it deals with different denominators. So we have a king here that is a 3 and a king here that is a 2. You can't add those two numbers together because the denominator is different. You have to make the king the same. So in order for you to make the king the same, you have to look for a multiple of both numbers. And the next multiple would be, okay, 6, okay, 4 wouldn't work because 3 doesn't go into 4. 2 goes into 4, but 3 doesn't. So what about 5? 5 doesn't work. What about 6? 6 works because 3 times 2 is 6 and 2 times 3 is 6. So here you're pretty much going to multiply by itself. You're going to grab this one and multiply times 3 times 3. But whatever you do to the bottom, you're going to have to do to the top. So you're going to say times 3. And then over here, let's go ahead and finish this one. 2 times 3 equals 6. So this is your king. 1 times 3 equals 3. Over here, it's gonna be times 2 because the king has to be 6. This is the king. And the top two, whatever you do to the bottom, you're gonna have to do to the top. So 4 times 2 equals 8, correct? So now, look at the king. The king is the same now. So now, it's like right here, the king is the same. Now you're able to add this number plus this number. So now you can grab the 8 plus 3 and it becomes 11, 6. And now if you grab the two whole numbers, 3 plus 3 is 6. So your answer, and I'm gonna go ahead and move the 6 over here so that it's closer. So, but you have the same problem that you have over here. This is an improper fraction because 11 is bigger than the denominator. So therefore, can we say that 6 is 6 plus 11, 6, the same as that? Yes. Now, can we say, let's go ahead and grab a king and take one king out. Take one king out, and if you took a 6 out of 11, you're left off with 5, right? So then here's your 5, 6. Because do you agree that these two add up to 11? And then the king just carries on because he's the king. The king never changes. So, but do you agree that 6 divided by 6 is equal to 1? So 6 plus 1 plus 5, 6. Now you fix the problem. You converted the improper fraction to a proper fraction. All you gotta do is add them together and it would be 6 plus 1. The answer would be 7 and 5, 6. And that's how simple it is to add mixed fractions. Okay? We'll see you on our next video. Please subscribe.